Hello and welcome to, well, it's a Wednesday. I'm going to do an Ask Uncle Lee today. I think we did one last week, can't remember now. I'm interspersing things here on a Wednesday, so yeah, keeps things interesting, I suppose. Yeah, I'm going to do Ask Uncle Lee, so we'll have some questions to go through. But before I do that, I just want to thank everybody who has joined Patreon. I am considering doing a list of people at the end of the videos of who's joined, just to give you a shout out. I'm not all sure that's everybody wants that to be seen, but I don't know. I'll think about it. Anyway, thanks everybody who has joined Patreon. It definitely helps keep these videos going, and you know we can keep the content flowing and everything else. But anyway, let's do the intro and then we'll get into the questions. All right, so the first question is from at Tatiana Bras dash X5G. All right, you will be tagged, so you know who you are. Hi, I found your channel at the perfect time. Thank you so much for your videos. Please tell me how to start working with daemons. As in, do I need to create a separate altar than the altar I am currently using for my practice? I currently have Hecate on my altar and want to incorporate Lucifer, but want to make sure I am respectful to both. So how do I balance this? Do I need two altars, or should I create a second altar dedicated to Lucifer and whichever other daemons I end up working with as well? All right, so there's a few things to mention here, actually. First of all, you need to first examine your own personal interpretation of the word daemon, and daimon from the Greek, and demon, which is the the English westernized, Christianized version of those words, which has taken a whole new meaning. But yeah, we've discussed this quite a lot on this channel. If you sort of scan through a lot of the videos, there is discussions of the word itself. But if we do look at the word uh, daemon from the Latin or daimon from the Greek, it really does cover especially Hecate. Um, it's usually, it depending on who you talk to and what part in history we're actually referring to. I mean, if you can go back to um, oh, God, 3,000, 6,000 years ago, I'm not really sure anymore. I think it's about 3,000 years ago or 6,000 years. Can't remember. I mentioned it somewhere on here. The first written use of the word daimon from in the Greek really encompassed everything, and that was used before they came or they brought about the word theos, which is more of a kind of theistic or related to divinity itself. So originally daimon was encompassed everything really. It wasn't just like specific spirits, whereas we find with the inclusion of Socrates and psychology and all of these adaptations and things, where it became more of um, a spirit that was guiding. We also find that a lot of people consider them to be tutelary spirits, so teaching and protective at the same time. Um, so yeah, it depends who you talk to and what point in history you're referring to. If we look at modern demonology, for instance, the word or daemon is considered to be a divine intelligence, and when we consider divine intelligence, that can include the gods and the goddesses, the angels, the fae, the nature spirits, all of these entities which are of a divine or higher vibrational state, which then separate it from the what we may call malevolent spirits, or the astral parasites, the astral larvae, the spirits who they still have a purpose, as any parasite does. They have a purpose to exist or for existence, but we don't really want them to eat or feed on our own energies and things like that. So, but Yeah. So the first thing here is to first determine your own personal, or examine the word daimon and daemon, and come up with your own personal interpretation. And that, don't be surprised that that again evolves through the years and changes through the years. You may consider it to be something different in 5 years from now. But really seriously examine that word to begin with, all right? And the main reason, as I say, or the reason I actually started with that was because you can include Hecate in that reference of daimon or daemon. In many cases, and this often comes with people who do work with a lot of different types of spirits. They may not want to, you know, in discussion, when they are talking to somebody and trying to get a point across or something like that, we have to kind of define words a certain way, and it's important to understand how people are actually using the words so we understand what they're talking about. But somebody might be working with a lot of different spirits, like they may be working with angels, and they want to separate the idea of angel from phonic spirits, and they therefore might use the word daimon or daemon to refer to just phonic spirits. And Hecate is a phonic spirit, a lot more than that, obviously, but can be considered a chthonic spirit because she is an underworldly spirit. She is connected with the crossroads and liminal spaces, but also psychopompic work, or she can be considered a psychopomp, you know, moving or directing, helping the dead across. You know, Hecate covers a lot of different areas, can transition between all three realms and all of these things. But in most aspects, or a lot of aspects, Hecate is this phonic spirit, so can be considered a demonic entity. Now, um, what's interesting here is that you want to include Lucifer. Um, Again, depending on mythology, depending on culture, tradition, etc., etc., we could actually consider Hecate to be the same or similar spirit to what the Italian witchcraft folk, well, that specific folklore within the Italian or the Roman, may have considered to be Diana. If we have a look at Aradia, the Gospel of the Witches by Charles Leland's, forgot the name. Hold on, let me go check. Charles Leland, got Smith on the head. Let's just check. Charles Leland. Sorry, Charles Godfrey Leland. Leland was the surname. All right, got that cleared up. But anyway, in that particular reference, in that particular folklore, we find Diana is the all-encompassing force and power that was there at the beginning, before all things were created, and kind of, you know, got a bit lonely, sort of thing, and decided to birth Lucifer, who then became not just child of Diana, but also consort and lover, and they then birthed Aradia, who, etc. So a whole lot of folklore behind that. But you know, you've got this particular direction you could take your own personal worldview in. So, you know, Hecate and Lucifer could be very, very, or do, I find they do anyway, work very, very well together. My trio, I like to call them, is Hecate, Pan, and Lucifer. Those are the three that I mostly work with, those powers that I incorporate into my own craft. So I find that they work extremely well together, and it's possible because they are, you know, you've got Hecate, which is just this potent, powerful entity. And, you know, if you try and go into the history, yes, we have all this Greek history relating to Hecate, but there's a lot of speculation that goes way beyond, or the Greek inclusion. There is some speculation that Hecate wasn't Greek to begin with, but got brought into the mythologies as a Titan. So, you know, it's quite possible Hecate is just one of those big, powerful entities that primordial beings, actually. But again, that's speculation. There's no real uh, lore or archaeological findings and things like that we can actually relate to that. But anyway, yes. So what do? You want to bring Hecate and Lucifer together. My advice would be to first, you've worked with Hecate for a period of time, bring Lucifer and introduce Lucifer to Hecate and see how the energies mix together. I can say they work together, but somebody else bringing those two energies together may find out that to be completely and utterly false and different. One of the reasons for that is that there isn't one singular entity which is that we can call Lucifer. Lucifer is a title, and Lucifer is therefore multiple beings, multiple entities. Lucifer is the light bringer, and depending on what tradition you're working with, that's going to vary, it's going to differ. And I've worked with people whose Lucifer is very, very different to my Lucifer, and at the same time I have worked with multiple different Lucifers or light bringers, and they're all very, very different. They all have the same role, but they bring it about in different ways. Therefore, go through the process of bringing your Lucifer into contact with your Hecate, and see if the energies mash together, whether they mold, whether they unite in this beautiful union, or whether they clash, whether they create this disruptive feeling and atmosphere. And depending on that result, then you can go about deciding what to do next. So that could be separate the altars or incorporate them and bring them into a cohesive type of practice where you are worshipping and giving honor to both of them at the same time, and working with them separately when you need to. Depends on your own personal working. So yeah, that would be my advice anyway. All right, that's it for today. As you know, doing short Wednesdays now, so I'm going to leave that one there. We'll come back to more questions or something else next week. Okay, thank you for watching, and again, thank you for the support, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers for now. Bye bye.